Good afternoon, City of Refuge. Thanks for joining me today for the weekly update. First, I want to thank Amanda for filling in last week and doing such a great job. In fact, every time she does this, she does such a great job that I think that she needs to do it much more often. So if you see Amanda, if you talk to Amanda, please be sure to encourage her and even tell her to get ready to do more of these videos because she does a great job with all of them. So welcome to April. Hard to believe it's April 1st. The one thing I can promise you today is that you'll get no April Fool's jokes from me. Everything that we talk about, all the announcements, they're real and they're really going to happen. But we have a lot to go over as we have a lot going on this week and then in the coming week. So take some time, maybe even take some notes and add to your calendar all these things that are going on. First, tomorrow morning, so Saturday morning at 10 o'clock is the Men's Saturday Bible Fellowship that we have with the brothers from Tabernacle Baptist. This is all done on Zoom. All men are invited to join us as we have a great time of discussion around the scriptures. So if you'd like to be a part of that, just reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get the link. Again, it's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on Zoom with the brothers from Tabernacle Baptist Church. And then tomorrow night at 5:30, we have our weekly gathering, our time where we come together for worship and intercession, to gather around the scriptures and to join each other in fellowship. That is live and in person here at Grace Alliance Chapel at 5:30. And then for those who can't be here in person, it's also live streamed on both Facebook and our YouTube channel. So again, 5:30, we'd love to have you join us. We will continue. This will be our third week in the Jesus Said series. This week we'll be talking about Mark chapter 13 and how Jesus teaches his disciples. So he moves actually from talking to his enemies to now talking to his friends. And he'll be teaching his disciples about the destruction of the temple and then his return at the end of the age. Two things that sometimes seem like they get mixed together when the truth is they are two separate questions the disciples asked with two separate answers that Jesus offered. So would love to have you join us again tomorrow night, 5:30, in person or on Facebook or YouTube. If tomorrow does not work for you, as we do every week, the service will be replayed Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on both Facebook and on YouTube. And then as we start moving into next week, Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, so that's April the 5th at 7 o'clock, is the next Connections Women's Group meeting. That meeting is here in person at Grace Alliance Chapel. Also, I believe that it is live streamed on the Connections Women's Group Facebook page. So just a reminder, it's not on the City of Refuge Facebook, it's on the Connections page. So if you have any questions about that, just reach out to Melissa. This month, Melissa will be the speaker. She's talking about the topic of taste and see that the Lord is good, talking about food, fitness, and faith. So all women are welcome to join in. And again, if you have any questions, just reach out to Melissa, or you can reach out here to us on Facebook, and we'll make sure that we get all the information to you. Wednesday night, we continue our Bible study of the book of Revelation. So we missed a week because of some different things that were going on. So this Wednesday, we get back into Revelation chapter 22, where we come to the end of the vision. So really, John gets to the end of what he sees from heaven, and then he just hears from Jesus. Jesus wraps all of Revelation up with a message for us that he gives through John, that originally was spoken to those 7 churches in Asia Minor, and then has been handed down to all of the church from generation to generation. So again, that's at 7 o'clock. It's only live stream right now. So it'll be on Facebook and on YouTube. Would love to have you join us. Would love to have you join in and interact, ask questions, make comments. We are nearing the end of this 3-year journey through Revelation. Probably just have 1 or 2 lessons left, but want to finish strong and continue to finish in seeing the character of Jesus, the sovereignty and authority of Jesus in all things. Then next Friday night, so a week from today, Friday night, April the 8th, is the next Brothers in Fellowship men's meeting. So we as the men meet the second Friday of every month at 6:30. This month, the Mingies will be hosting us again, so we'll gather and we'll eat together and fellowship together. And then this month, David Cohen will be sharing his story of how God has met him and worked through his life. So we'd love to have you join us. Every month, there is just a new story with the same truth. How God has pursued us and how God has worked in us and for us, and how God continues to not only join our hearts to his, but to join our hearts to each other. So men, we would love to have you join us. If you have any questions, reach out to David Mengi, reach out to PJ Jackson, or you can even reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with them. But this ministry that is still just a few months old is growing in quality, it's growing in depth, it's growing in love, and as the name says, it's growing in fellowship. So again, would love to have you join us next Friday night. So we are in, those are all the things that are coming up in the next week, but as I mentioned at the beginning, we're now in April, which means we are far more than halfway through the Lenten season. In fact, we're just a couple of days more than 2 weeks from Easter. And so I want to begin sharing with you the things that we have planned for Easter weekend. First of all, on Good Friday, at 6:30, we will be gathering here with Grace for a Good Friday service as we have done over these last few years. So Good Friday, 6:30 p.m. here at Grace Alliance Chapel. It'll be a time of worship and a time of prayer, just really to focus our hearts on Jesus, on what he has done. You know, if you've joined us these last few years, you know that Good Friday has a tendency to be a bit of a somber service. But really, we know what happens after Good Friday. And so our effort year after year has been to gather and in seriousness reflect on the cross, but in hope remember the resurrection. And so we will be gathering again to worship, gathering again to pray, and gathering again really to prepare our hearts to rejoice at the resurrection of Christ. And then on Saturday night, which this year is an interesting thing in the calendar, and it's really beneficial for us. This year, Silent Saturday is also Passover. So this year on Saturday night, we will be having our usual Saturday night service here at 5:30 here at Grace Alliance. So you may remember last year we joined with Grace on Easter Sunday morning. We had an outdoor service and baptisms, and it really was a great time in the Lord. And a great time to celebrate the resurrection through the baptism of new believers. This year, we're going to have our Saturday night service, and Grace is going to join us for the service on Saturday night. So Grace actually is not doing a Sunday morning service. They're going to join us here on Saturday night in their building, but for our service, as Pastor Mike really wanted to join together, and they wanted to join together in fellowship with us. So just so that you can begin preparing your heart, we will be receiving communion as we finish the Jesus Said series, where we'll be seeing how Jesus connected the Passover with his death and resurrection. And he did it through the Lord's Supper. He did it through the Passover meal, which has become our communion meal. And so we'll be taking communion together and worshiping together as one body with many members, but coming together here in one building. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to us. For those of you that are on the worship team or you take part in leadership, you'll be hearing from us soon. We will be doing the same things we always do. We'll be doing worship together. We'll be having intercession. I believe Barb will be leading us if she's available, since it's the third Saturday of the month, and then we'll be taking communion and hearing God's word together. Finally, on Easter Sunday, we will be joining with Broad Street United Methodist Church and other Burlington City churches for the annual sunrise service at the Riverfront Promenade. Now, we have not been able to do this the year before, and so it is something that we've missed and looking forward to getting back to. So that is going to be the only Easter Sunday service that we have. I'm going to invite you to enjoy your family, maybe visit a local church or go to a church with your family. But we're going to have our celebration Saturday night. We're going to join with Broad Street on Sunday morning, and then we're going to celebrate as families and as the body of Christ. So those are all the things that are coming up. I know that it's a lot, so if you need to watch this again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your diligence. All of it will be on the monthly calendar as it comes out soon. So just keep an eye out for anything on the Facebook page, and any updates will be there. Finally, I want to close today, and I know usually I give a little devotional thought or share something from the reading plan, but instead I want to ask you to join me in prayer. I want us to pray for our brothers and sisters at Holy Light Church of Jesus Christ, which many of you may not know the church, but you know Life Four Corners, which is a school and daycare in Burlington City where we worked hand in hand with as they provided so many meals for children and families during the pandemic. They do a great work there, both at the church and through the school. But Pastor Miller, Pastor Steve Miller, the longtime pastor of Holy Light, passed away this week. And Pastor Miller was a good friend and a gracious mentor, and just a man of God and a leader in our community that we will dearly miss. He has battled illness for the last couple of years, and the Lord saw fit to take him home this week. And so I want to just ask you, please join me in praying this week for the Miller family, for his wife and his children and grandchildren, and join me in praying for the body there, the brothers and sisters that we have there at Holy Light and at Life Four Corners. The truth is, our community, we know that life and death are in the hands of God, and so we celebrate God receiving Pastor Miller. But our community lost a pillar this week, and we want to be sure to not fill the space, but to pray for one another. And so I just want to remind you of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 26. Speaking of us as one body with many members, it says, if one part suffers, every part suffers with it. And there's just a new way, maybe not a new way, a different way that I want us to see that verse today. And that is the words with it that are added to the end. See, I don't believe that the Apostle Paul is just saying if one part suffers, then everybody is suffering. I believe the Apostle Paul is calling us to join in the suffering. He's calling us, just like Hebrews tells us to remember those who are in chains. I believe that the Apostle Paul is saying, don't just move on. Don't just be unaffected. Don't just keep your eyes forward. Remember that if one part suffers, your calling is to suffer with it, to suffer together. I believe that's one part of how we comfort one another with the comfort that we've been given. And so this week, would you join me in praying for the Miller family? Join me in praying for Holy Light and Life Four Corners. Join me in praying for the Church of Burlington City, that we would be comforted, that we would be strengthened, and that God would raise up those to continue the good work that Pastor Miller didn't start, but that God started in Pastor Miller. I love you guys, and I thank you so much for the love and the grace and the mercy that you've shown us over these last couple of weeks. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for holding our arms. Thank you for feeding us. Thank you for just being our family in so many ways. And we are seeing God work, and we are trusting God to finish everything that He started in and through all of us. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.